Thank you, God. I gotta start off by saying thank you, God. This childlike perps with these perps who were just adults on a spectrum that they have to be in order for the gaslighting to be applied onto me. I just heard this perp and this next door trash I don't respect. They know I don't. I look at them as just, I know your job, okay. I know what you're supposed to be doing. I know what you're being contracted to do, and you failed. Okay, in that regard, what's happening to my brain and my thought process is they're just being destroyed. They're using kids, actual children, to frame me, right? So that will give you an idea of what kind of low life they are. These trash still have the audacity to try to make me think that I can speak in a certain way and I'm gonna be me as a target individual, me who's talking, will be influenced by the way this perp participate in this program tell me that they're gonna have children pretending they're getting raped by me. That I'm gonna be influenced, and this person involved in that should be seen as somebody that I should listen to. Fucking retards. This shit deserves to die. You understand the audacity that one have to be like, hey, I'm about to make it look like you're raping a child, but listen to who I want you to believe you are. Me. Participating in this, telling you we're having a kid, pretending she's talking to you. Listen to me. It's just magical. I don't know where these people find this shamelessness. And they're like, no, there's something fucking retarded. And then just the way they play in my brain. I'm a target individual and I know what it means. An ecosystem of people who are just on the spectrum to gaslight you. When I mean the spectrum, they don't actually have mental issues or disability. They are just acting this way so I can be gaslighted into accepting how my brain and how being altered and manipulated, and this false persona is being applied onto me to the point where they're even having children pretending to get raped. And my brain is so hacked that they're just playing my brain. For example, they're making me think, and by the way, they still try to make me think that I should look at them as people not involved in the program that's killing women and raping women. Even though on my phone every day I listen to that. Listen to what this woman go through. See picture of people who look just like this retard living next to me. Or participating at work. I see what they really are. It gets so bad. Listen, they want to create this persona where I'm into like kids and stuff like that. Sometimes just young people, even adult. I'm like, it's just retarded. Of course, I've seen 20-some-year-old like, I'm like, wow. Like any man, but that's not my preference. I listened to this guy on the podcast who's like, hey, he's a 44-year-old, talk about 25-year-old, 20. It's like, of course, this young adult woman that can look at us like, okay, but that's not my preference. It's not what I go for. There's this, the realm they're in, because they are literally having actual children, kids, pretending getting raped. And these retards, I'm using whatever right now. The way they're making me think of this. I know I say this thing all the time. They're making me think of in 2020. I was already being manipulated. I remember I think it was like a 22-year-old gymnast. She looked great. Right? Maybe 22, 23, early 20s. At one point, she was some kind of UCLA gymnast or something like that. Great physique, you can only, They tried to bring that up. I was like, yeah, you see. There's like, and I'm like, do you see these retard teenage kids that, are you comparing yourself to that? How delusional are these retards? Do you know this woman? This 23, she can be with a 40-year-old man right now. I was like 31 or maybe 32. Looking at just, okay, like she was like a turning to Instagram model. Is that what you're gonna hide these kids, actual children, up using like some Instagram model, ex-gymnast or something like that? You see these pictures of these clowns. These Perps are amazing. The level of delusionality that they're in is something else. I'm like, do you think you're a twin to her or something? It's like, no, she's an Instagram model at this point. Wait, you think I'm 32-year-old me on top of that, like seeing a 23 to. Now, for me, of course, when it comes to actually being with somebody that in the early 20s, that I'm not interested. But can I look at one who's, and it's so disgusting that even when I go to the office, they're like, oh, you like them young, and some young co-workers of mine that just look weird. It's like, oh, perverse. Like, nobody's perverse towards you, trust me. You know, Instagram model or whatever, you're not that. And I'm not, trust me, you're not my cup of tea. You're good. Don't flatter yourself. I'm not interested by any. You can manipulate my brain. That's not manipulation. But please, the delusionality. Like, are you even aware? Like, are you like, they don't have like self-awareness too. Can you imagine somebody who just so wants to be like, oh my gosh, you look at me perfect? Nobody, get your nasty trash. Listen, I'm not perfect. I have perversion toward actual women or women who look womanly. Because this 20 are women, but they're young women they were like small. So let me calm down. I'm sorry. I came out and made this video and just start speaking. They use these personas to break down a target individual for defamation purposes. And this technology that is applied onto us is manipulative of the brain. We are guinea pigs to that. And a lot of target individuals deal with this altering of the mind. These influences to the mind. Some have lost their mind to the point of causing mass shooting. Aaron Alexis is a man who ended up killing 12 people. In his letter, he said he believed this electromagnetic technology is influencing his mind. There's been research and development of this technology that manipulates your mind since the 50s. In the 60s, a man called Jose Delgado wrote a book called Physical Control of the Mind. Even at the time, he showed the ability to manipulate the brain in certain ways, to be able to influence sexual stimulations, even thinking process. In the 60s, he even got in an interview, he said that while he was doing that, the research and development where he actually wired monkeys, cats, bulls. There was also another research and development program happening called Project Pandora. That was led by DARPA and the CIA. They were trying to be able to manipulate the brain with that, putting any wiring to the brain. No devices, just using purely electromagnetic frequencies to trigger the brain to get stimulation to manipulate them in every ways. He even said himself, I could do what I could do to this monkey without the wires using this electromagnetic technology. Now, this is technology they've been developing. It's for the purpose of controlling and manipulating the mind. Now, what's happening today, target individuals, we are being manipulated this way, but they also create an ecosystem. So for you to be identified and be acceptive of this manipulation, as if you're not being manipulated, but some other retardation of like logic. They want you to be acceptive. So these people around you, as manipulated as you are, they're supposed to be like, oh yeah, that's you. Oh, this is something. This is something. They just did some research. When the truth, they know it very well what this technology is capable of doing. They're playing along to gaslight you, the target individual, into believing that this is not a manipulation of some sort, even though it's super obvious. To make you feel doubtful. And they use very childish-like individuals who have no shame, because some of the manipulation is just too obvious. And some of it doesn't really make sense. And then, in my cases, they even tell me that they're pretending that they're having children framing me. Which, if anything, validates the fact that these people in my brain will make me have these experiences, because even in real life, they're having children pretending to get raped. And it takes a level of just childlike minded. It takes a level of retardation. I'm not even want to use that word anymore because it's insulting to people with mental disability. A level of mental spectrum of some sort that's so low to try to break me down into accepting it. And I put that in their faces because they want me to be like, oh my gosh, it's making sense. Oh, the pressure, when I understand what they do. So they try to use whatever they can. It's like, oh, but you saw this 23-year-old gymnast, you look like this. Like, okay. What? It's like saying, oh, you saw a 23-year-old model, you looked at her and you thought she was a wild model. Huh? On top of that, I'm like 32. Do you know this woman, this young adult woman who's in her early 20s? You know, she's talking to people 40. And don't get it twisted. This is not every, don't compare yourself to that, please. Please. It's like if I was a woman and I saw a 23-year-old athlete that looked a certain way, and then some retarded little teenage boy coming, yeah, it's up, he like them, it's retarded. The stupidity. And if you're like a 30-some-year-old woman, you see a 23-year-old guy, you say, okay, but he's 23, so he doesn't even, it's like a model or something. Okay. Then at the office, all the little 23-year-old comes in, that's the kind of, like, that's the stupidity. I have to. I deal with this stupidity 24/7. And then you know what they were trying to do? Is like, no, but you went back in the older pictures. You went, like, they start creating imagination, make me imagine how she could look like in high school. When then you went back in there, and start making me imagine that. And then this perps, they still want to sound like they're sensible. It's like, yeah, not fair. And they're making me imagine that. It's like, no, how far back did you go in there? Did you see all the pictures too? Did you go, oh, there. Retard. It's non-stop pure retardation to drive the target individual into insanity. And you gotta be strong, because these perps have no shame of how retarded they can be. I'm sorry if my videos become a little bit more of just me venting, but reality is being disrupted for us target individuals, for us to go into insanity. If you're dealing with being the manipulation of the mind that this technology is capable of doing, it becomes even worse. But the truth is, I couldn't even compare, because you don't know how bad it is until you trust, like, something else happened. When I was being gang stalked only, and people around me were acting all this weird way and these things, and then, it was also driving me into a different insanity. But I think, I'm not saying that target individuals who deal with this V2K manipulation have it worse. It's all the same insanity. They just try to push us into insanity. And you have to find strength, and you have to know yourself, all yourself, the positive and the negative you. I know who I am. I know who I am 100%. They just try to change who I am, even the negative of me, and change it and aim it toward children. And then use these clowns around you that's supposed to gaslight you. And they have this child retards. And it's like, yeah, we proved that you see. You retard. Go pretend you're getting raped. That's your purpose in life. Target individuals, stay strong and see this low life for what they are.